Stop. Whatever you're doing right now, stop. Feel where you are. Not just physically feel the weight that has been sitting in your chest. The kind of weight that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that's been there so long you've started to treat it as permanent. That quiet tightness right behind your ribs. That low hum of a question you keep pushing down. You started this year with something. A knowing. A sense in your bones that this year, this specific one, was going to be different. And for a little while, you held on to that. You showed up from it. You prayed from it. You made decisions that felt aligned with something bigger than the ordinary routine of your life. But somewhere between then and now, it got quiet. The enthusiasm softened. The same patterns started showing up again. The same delays, the same silence, the same feeling of working hard but not quite breaking through. And now there is a question. It doesn't come every day, but it comes. Sometimes at 3 in the morning when everything is still and you cannot avoid it. Sometimes just in a quiet moment between tasks. The question is, what if this year looks exactly like the last one? I need you to hear something before we go any further. That question is not failure. That question is faithfulness. It is the sound of someone who has not given up, who still believes even when belief feels costly, who is still here, still reaching, still watching for something to shift. God sees that. He has seen every one of those nights, every prayer that felt like it went nowhere, every morning you chose to get up anyway and do it again, every small act of faithfulness that no one else witnessed. And He said something specific about this moment, about the window you are standing in right now. Ancient traditions had a word for moments like this. Not ordinary time, not the regular tick of the calendar where Monday becomes Tuesday and January becomes February and the year moves forward, but somehow stays the same. They had a different word for the kind of time where something sacred breaks through. They called it kairos, a rupture in ordinary time. A moment where the wall between what has been and what is meant to be becomes paper thin, a threshold, a hinge, a window. You are standing in one of those windows right now, and the next 72 hours are not ordinary hours. They are what God has specifically appointed as the determining threshold for the rest of your year. Not what you will accomplish in them, not what changes around you, but what shifts inside you, what you receive, what you finally release, and what you choose to step into. Most people will move through these hours completely unaware of what is available to them. They will spend these 3 days the way they spend every other 3 days, and they will wonder at the end of the year why nothing changed. You are not most people. You were shown this message at this exact moment for a reason, and what you receive in the next few minutes could change everything about how you enter this window. Stay with me until the very end of this video, because by the time we finish, you will know exactly what God has positioned in these 72 hours for your life. You will understand 5 specific areas that are actively shifting right now. And I am going to show you something about your own brain that most people never learn, something that changes your ability to receive everything that is already placed in front of you. These are things worth staying for. Don't leave early. Now, let me show you what you are actually standing in. There is a fundamental difference between ordinary time and sacred time. Most of us live our entire lives inside ordinary time, where 1 hour is the same as any other hour, where the calendar moves forward in a straight line, where change happens slowly or sometimes not at all. And we pray and we believe and we do everything we know to do, and we wonder why the breakthrough we are trusting for keeps feeling just out of reach. But that is because we do not know about the windows. The ancient Greek language had 2 entirely separate words for time. The first was chronos, the regular, sequential, measured kind. Monday follows Sunday. December follows November. That is chronos. Most of us live almost entirely there. But the second word was kairos, and kairos was something completely different. Kairos was a moment of divine opening, a window in time where what is normally closed becomes available. where the ordinary gives way to something that cannot be explained by ordinary logic alone. A threshold moment where the timing is not just right, it is sacred. And here is what matters about kairos windows. They do not announce themselves. They do not arrive with trumpets or with obvious signs. They show up looking like a regular Wednesday morning or a quiet Thursday night. And most people walk right through them without ever knowing what just passed through their life. This is not the first time God has worked through windows like this. Look at the whole of spiritual history, and you will find the same pattern again and again, threshold moments compressed into short, intense windows of time. A night of wrestling through till morning, and a man comes out of it with a new name and a different walk. 3 days in the deep before a calling was accepted and a city was saved. 40 days in the wilderness, and then the beginning of a ministry that changed the world. These patterns are not accidents. They are the recurring signature of a God who moves through appointed windows, who concentrates his work in specific moments of time, who says not, eventually now. And the scientific world has begun to catch up to what ancient wisdom already knew. Researchers who study human transformation and the way the brain changes have found that there are specific windows of heightened receptivity in human life. Periods where information does not just land on the surface, it goes deeper, where decisions carry more weight than usual, where what you choose to receive or release inside these windows has longer leverage than anything decided in ordinary time. Scientists call them threshold periods or decision windows, and they have found that these windows are real, measurable, and brief. What ancient wisdom called kairos, neuroscience calls a decision window. Different language, the exact same thing. So let me ask you something. If there are certain windows of time where what you receive, what you decide, and what you step into has far more power than at any other moment, what would it change about how you move through the next 72 hours to know that you are standing inside one of them right now? Let me make this real for you. Picture two people, same city, same kind of life, both of them in the same spiritual season, the waiting kind, the almost but not quite kind, the kind where you have been faithful and the breakthrough has not fully landed yet. They both move through the same 7-2-hour window. The first person does not know what the window is. They spend those 3 days the way they spend every other 3 days, distracted, busy, moving from task to task with half their attention. Nothing terrible happens. They just move through the window unaware, like walking past a door that was open and not even noticing it was there. The second person knows, not in a way that stresses them out or adds pressure, but they know they are standing in something, and so they slow down. They become intentional. They pay attention to what is being offered rather than rushing past it. They release something they have been holding on to too tightly. They take one step that they have been almost taking for months. 6 months later, their lives look nothing alike. Same prayers, same God, same faith, different posture inside the window. This is what kairos does. This is what it means to not just move through sacred time, but to move with it. But here is what I have not told you yet, and this is where everything deepens. Because knowing the window is open is only the first layer. What matters more, what I believe God specifically wants you to understand right now, is what He has placed inside this window for you. 5 specific things. 5 areas of your life that are not just generally shifting, but actively moving in this 7-2-hour threshold. Let me show you each one. Let me be honest with you up front. I cannot tell you the exact shape these things will take. I cannot give you a name or a date or a guarantee. That would be a performance, and you do not need a performance. You need the truth. So take what resonates with your season and hold the rest loosely. The first thing moving in this window is your relationships. Not all of them the ones that matter most. There are connections in your life that have been delayed, circling, not quite arriving. The right person, the right partnership, the right presence that your season has been calling for. In a kairos window, these things begin to unlock. Not because you force them, but because your alignment makes you available to them in a way you were not before. In the next 72 hours, pay attention to who reaches out, who comes to mind, who surfaces from somewhere unexpected. That is not coincidence. That is a connection being positioned. The second thing moving is clarity. There has been a fog, not a dramatic one, just a quiet uncertainty about the next step, the next direction, the path that keeps feeling almost visible, but not quite. In this window, that fog begins to thin, not all at once, but enough to take the step you have been hesitating on. Enough to make the decision that has been sitting in the half-open drawer of your life for months. Enough to finally say yes to the thing you have been almost ready to say yes to for longer than you can remember. The third thing moving is provision. And I want to be careful here, because I do not want you to hear this as a promise I cannot keep. What I mean by provision is not a sudden windfall from nowhere. What I mean is that resources, doors and opportunities that were not accessible in the previous season are being repositioned. The ceiling that has been sitting over your finances, over what feels possible, over what feels available to you, that ceiling is being addressed in this window. And I will come back to why your brain has everything to do with whether you can actually receive it, because that part is critical. The fourth thing moving is healing. For some of you, this is the most important one of the five. There is something in you that has been hurting for so long that you have stopped calling it pain and started calling it just who you are. But it is not who you are. It is a wound. And wounds in a kairos window do not always require a long process and a waiting room. Sometimes healing arrives quietly and gently in the middle of 3 days, where you are simply willing to receive it instead of bracing against it. And the fifth thing moving in this window is your identity. This is perhaps the deepest one. The reason most chosen ones do not step into what is available to them is not a lack of faith and not a lack of effort. It is a lack of clarity about who they actually are. The calling that has felt vague is beginning to become specific. The version of you that you have glimpsed in your most aligned moments, that version is beginning to come into focus, not as a future dream, but as a present reality. Not something you are becoming. Something you already are and are finally beginning to see clearly. 5 things: relationships, clarity, provision, healing, identity. All of them positioned and waiting in this window. But here is what I need to tell you before we go any further, because this is the part that most people never learn. There is something happening inside your brain right now, something that has been happening to almost every adult on the planet that directly affects whether you can receive any of what God has placed in this window. When I show you this, everything else is going to make a completely different kind of sense. I want to talk to you about your brain, not in a clinical way, in a way that I think is going to change how you understand everything we have covered so far. Scientists who study the brain have identified different types of brain waves, different frequencies at which the brain operates, depending on what you are doing and what state you are in. You have probably heard of some of them: alpha, beta, theta. But there is one frequency that stands above all the others, one that researchers keep returning to when they study the moments in human life where everything shifts. They call it gamma. Gamma is the highest measurable brain frequency, and what happens inside a brain operating in gamma is nothing short of remarkable. Researchers at institutions like MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and Princeton have studied people in gamma states, and what they found was this gamma is associated with peak perception, deep intuition, sudden clarity, and the ability to see connections between things that most people simply cannot see. Athletes call it the flow state. Artists call it inspired. People of faith call it divine clarity. Scientists call it gamma. But they are all describing the same thing. And here is what will stop you in your tracks. Children under the age of 7 operate in gamma almost constantly. Think about what children are like at that age. They learn languages in months. They absorb everything. They are creative in ways that seem almost effortless. They trust completely and receive fully. There is almost no ceiling on what feels possible to them. Then something starts to happen. Around the age of 7, the modern world begins to work against the gamma state. The education system, the pressure to conform, the constant stimulation, the stress of performing for adult approval, all of it begins to push the brain into a different frequency. A survival frequency. A get-through-the-day frequency. Scientists have a name for what happens to almost every human being as they grow up in the modern world. They call it the decline effect. The gradual suppression of gamma that leaves most adults living almost entirely in a managing frequency rather than a receiving one. By the time most of us reach adulthood, we spend the vast majority of our time in beta waves. Beta is the frequency of ordinary functioning, paying bills, solving problems, managing the day, surviving the week. Beta is not bad, but beta is not a receiving frequency. Beta is a managing frequency, and when you are operating in beta, you can be standing in the middle of a kairos window and walk right through it without receiving a single thing that was available to you in it. This is not a spiritual failure. This is neuroscience. The gamma frequency that made you able to receive, to see, to move in alignment, that frequency did not leave you. It went dormant. And the most important thing I want you to understand about the next 72 hours is this. The 5 things God has positioned in this window are only fully accessible to you when your brain is operating at gamma frequency. At beta, you can pray and feel nothing. You can believe and still feel blocked. Not because God is not moving, but because your brain is operating below the frequency needed to receive what is already there. And this is where something remarkable comes in. There is a neuroscientist named Dr. Robert Lake, 34 years of studying the brain, 34 years of asking one specific question: what separates the people who consistently experience breakthrough from the people who do not? And after all of that research, drawing from studies at MIT, Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, Berkeley, and Columbia, his answer was not more discipline, not more effort, not more striving. It was frequency, the gamma frequency that most adults have lost reliable access to. Dr. Lake spent years developing something to address this. Not a machine that costs thousands of dollars, not a years-long meditation practice. A 7-minute audio track that uses a technology called brain entrainment to guide your brain back into the gamma state. You put on a pair of headphones, you sit still for 7 minutes, and the technology does what would otherwise take years of daily practice to achieve. It reactivates your God-given gamma frequency, the receiving frequency, the one that was yours before the world trained it into silence. It is called the Genius Song. Now let me bring all of this together, because I want you to see the full picture. The window is real, a kairos threshold, confirmed by both ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience. A 72-hour window, where what you receive has more leverage than at almost any other time. The 5 things are positioned inside that window: relationships, clarity, provision, healing, identity, all of them moving, all of them available. And the bridge between you and fully receiving what is in this window is the frequency your brain is operating at when you move through it. This is the truth that changes everything. The 72 hours are not primarily about the clock. They are about the state you bring to the clock. And when I say alignment, I do not mean a vague spiritual feeling, I mean gamma. Your brain operating at the frequency of reception, of full intuition, of deep divine connection, so that what God has already positioned in this window can actually land in your life and not just pass through it. Think about what this means in practice. A chosen one who activates gamma in the morning does not just have a better morning. They move through the entire day with the perception, the clarity, and the receptivity that most people experience only accidentally in their rarest and best moments. Every encounter becomes a potential connection. Every quiet impression becomes something they can actually follow. Every door that was always there but invisible suddenly comes into view. The ancient world called this walking in the spirit. Science calls it sustained gamma activation. They are describing the same experience from two different directions. And here is what I want to say about who you are. You are the chosen one watching this, and that is not a casual phrase. That is a precise identity. You are a pioneer. You do not need the path to exist before you walk it. You are a seer. Your perception at full activation goes deeper than what most people can access. You are a cycle breaker, the pattern of dormant gamma, of living below frequency, of managing instead of receiving. That pattern ends with you. You are a bridge. When you operate at full frequency, you become the connective point between people, between possibilities, between what has been and what is meant to be. This is not what you are working toward. This is who you already are. The 72 hours are simply the invitation to act like it. Now let me tell you about the Genius song, because I think some of you will want to bring this tool into your window specifically. To reach gamma through traditional methods, you are looking at biofeedback therapy at around $300 per session, or a home biofeedback device that costs close to $7,000. Even a consistent meditation practice takes months of daily commitment before it produces reliable gamma activation, and most people simply cannot sustain that in the middle of an ordinary life. Dr. Lake compressed all of that research into a single 7-minute audio track that you listen to with headphones from wherever you are. The original price for this track is $49 less than a single biofeedback session. But because Dr. Lake wanted this technology available to the people who genuinely need it, not just those who can easily afford it, the price for anyone coming through this video has been reduced to $39. That price does not exist on Amazon, on Spotify, or anywhere else on the internet. It is only available through the link in the description and the pinned comment of this video. For that $39, you receive the main track, the 7-minute gamma activation. You also receive 4 free bonuses. The first is Genius Child, an audio track specifically designed to help children activate their natural gamma frequency for focus and confidence. The second is a classic book, the original text that the film The Secret was based on, a more grounded and substantive version of that message, available for $20 on Amazon and yours completely free. The third is a guided visualization that walks you through a mental experience of your ideal life across 4 areas: finances, love, health, and fulfillment. And the fourth is an infographic laying out the 5 most important daily habits for building toward the future you are meant to have, designed to print out and keep somewhere visible. Everything comes with a 1 to 100% money-back guarantee, with no limit on how many times you use it before requesting a refund. No explanation required. If you do not feel any difference, you receive every dollar back. You have nothing to lose. One thing I need to tell you clearly before we move on: there are sites currently using the name Genius Song that are not the original product. They do not carry the brain entrainment technology. They do not include the bonuses. They do not honor the guarantee. The only way to ensure you receive the authentic version with the complete technology, all 4 bonuses, and the full money-back guarantee is through the link I have placed in the description and in the pinned comment of this video. Do not search for it anywhere else. Whether you explore that or not, everything I have just shown you about your brain and your frequency belongs to you. The gamma truth is yours regardless. So here is what I want you to do with the next 72 hours. Not a complicated list, not a performance. 3 posture adjustments that position you to receive what is already waiting inside this window. The first one is this: receive. At some point in each of the next 3 days, give yourself even 5 minutes of stillness. Not asking God for things, just opening. Picture your hands open in your mind right now, not grasping, not asking, just open. That simple interior posture of open hands is the posture of receiving. If you have a way to activate gamma in those moments, use it. But even without anything external, this posture alone shifts your frequency in a way that prayer from a clenched posture never quite can. The second one is release. Right now, in the quiet space inside you, name one thing you have been controlling too tightly, one outcome you have been managing, one situation you have been trying to force in a direction instead of trusting. You do not have to do anything dramatic. Just say it in the space of your mind. I release this. I stop carrying it. The cycle breaker does not just receive new things, they set down the old weight that was blocking the new from arriving. And the third one is step. Somewhere inside these 72 hours, take one action that belongs to who you are becoming, not who you have been. One conversation you have been avoiding. One yes you have been delaying. One boundary you have been circling without drawing. It does not need to be a leap. One aligned step taken from a gamma posture carries more real-world weight than 100 anxious steps taken from survival mode. Receive, release, step. That is how a chosen one moves through a kairos window. Now I want to close. Because what we have walked through together is not just information, it is an activation. And before we seal it, I want to honor the space we are in. Wherever you are right now, take one breath. Let your shoulders drop just slightly. And let the one who has been watching your journey be acknowledged. God, I want to thank you, not for perfect circumstances and not because everything has been easy, but because you have been present in every hard moment, in the delays, in the silence, in the nights when the question came and the answer did not. You were there. And the one who found this message, who has been carrying this season, who has been faithful even when faithfulness felt like foolishness, you see them. You have not forgotten them. You have not missed a single day. We acknowledge that. You see every weight that has been carried, every question held in the dark, every moment this chosen one chose to show up when no one was watching, every prayer that felt like it went nowhere but actually went exactly where it was meant to go. You see the one who is still here, still watching, still reaching. Right now, we release. We release the old story that said this is as good as it gets. Release. We release the ceiling of last year's patterns, the feeling that the year will end exactly where it started. Release. We release the exhaustion of managing life from survival frequency when we were built to receive from something so much higher. Release. We release the comparison, the timeline of someone else's breakthrough that has been measuring our own. Release. We release the belief that we missed the window, that we are too late, that the door has already closed for us. Release. We release the fear of stepping into full alignment, that old familiar habit of pulling back right before the breakthrough arrives. Release. We release every version of ourselves that was too small, too quiet, too dormant, to step into what God has actually prepared. Release. Now we activate. We call forth the pioneer, the one who walks in frequency before anyone else recognizes it is even available. We activate the seer full perception, eyes open to what is moving beneath the surface of ordinary time. We activate the cycle breaker, the one in this generation where dormant gamma and survival living and receiving nothing ends, where a new pattern begins. We activate the bridge, the one who becomes the connection point between people, between open doors, between the promise and the fulfillment. And we open the 5 doors in this window. The door of right relationships, let what has been positioned begin to move. The door of clarity, let the fog thin, let the next step become visible and doable. The door of provision, let the ceiling be addressed, let resources align with purpose. The door of healing, let what has been carried as a wound be received as a completed work. And the door of identity, let the full vision of who this chosen one actually is come into focus, not as a future hope, but as a present reality. We cover what is rising. We guard what is being activated from old patterns of pulling back, from beta frequency distraction, from the voices that say not yet, not you, not this time. What has been opened in this window, let nothing close it before it is fully received. What has been activated in this frequency, let no old story pull it back into silence. And we declare, I am a chosen one, and I operate at full frequency. I am a pioneer, and I do not wait for the path to exist before I walk in it. I am a seer, and I see what is moving in the window I am standing in. We are cycle breakers. We are bridges. We carry the frequency of breakthrough, and we move through this 7-2-hour window, aligned, open, and fully ready to receive. It is done. It is sealed. We receive it. In Jesus' name, Amen. Take a breath. If this message spoke to your 7-2-hour window, go to the comments right now and type the word window. Let the chosen ones find each other. And if you want to explore the 7-minute gamma activation I shared today, the link to the authentic version with all 4 bonuses and the full guarantee is in the description and in the pinned comment. That is the only place I trust for the original. If someone in your life is in their own 7-2-hour window right now, someone who started this year with hope and is wondering if it will actually shift, share this with them. The appointment that found you today could be exactly what they have been waiting for. Until next time, chosen one, go enter your window. It is open and you are ready.